Hi, I'm Ramon with Giraffe Video Production. A couple weeks ago on the Sunday before the presidential election, I attended a photo exhibit event organized by the Newton Camera Club held at the West Newton Cinema. As you'll see here, tons of people showed up to see the beautiful photographs, or what I like to describe as photographic art. Lisa Brandon, a professional architectural photographer and a good friend of mine, explains.
This is my friend Ramon. yeah. Good way to get me relaxed.
So, hi Lisa.
Hi.
Tell me why you're doing this exhibit.
Well, I'm part of the Newton Camera Club, and we've been exhibiting at the West Cinema here for, I think, maybe 20 years. It's been a long time. And we were glad we could do it again this year, even though the cinema has been changing hands. So this is the Camera Club exhibit, Newton Camera Club. We have 60 pieces by 42 different photographers. It's like the biggest show yet.
Wow, can you tell me about your photographs here, especially this spiral case one?
I have two. Yes, so this is part of my series of doing spiral staircases with a panorama view. So this is at the Peabody Essex Museum. And so I use the phone for this because it stitches it automatically. And so I point the phone up and then I move it down and point it all the way down so that I can really get the whole staircase in one shot. So I have fun with, every time I do it, I giggle. I look at the photo, I'm like, that's so crazy. So I've been doing a whole series of these.
It's a beautiful one. I love all the color combinations in that picture there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, when you did that picture, did you see that, or was that sort of by accident that it came out so good?
I saw it. Well, I tried a lot of times too. It's a lot of trial and error. I tried it one floor higher, and I tried it around this side, and this was the one that came out the best. So.
I always find it interesting to find out what other people see through their own eyes, and photographs are windows into other people's perspectives. So let's hear from some of the other photographers.
My name is Jane Willen-Tracton.
Can you tell me about this beautiful peacock?
Yes, this was at the Plaza Balmero on the island of Isola Bella in Italy, Lake Maggiore. Mm-hmm. And this peacock was just strutting its stuff, and it was doing the train for probably 10 minutes. It was quite something. This was taken with my iPhone.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's beautiful. Wow, so how did you select which of those pictures to pick?
It was the way that he was, it was turning. You know, you got the front, the face and the whole fan, the whole train. And just I like the scenery over here, and I just like the anchor that was over here with the flowers.
Tell me about how you decided on lighting this piece.
Yeah, so I noticed really the perspective first. This is at the Christian Science Plaza on Huntington Ave, and it has these lights that are part of this larger building. And I noticed the framing of this with my friend here in the middle, and so I just noticed I'm really just using the light that's there. I didn't add anything special to it. It's just the natural light, but it's a very unique architectural area, and the lighting is a part of that.
All right. Anything else about your artistic eye for this photograph? Like, what made you decide to take it, Lou?
I mean, I've always wanted to photograph at this part of the city before, and I want to photograph there again in the future, just because I like geometric shapes in photos. And so in this, you have the framing of it, literally sort of like a door frame type thing, but also a rectangle within a rectangle. And so I saw that, and I also saw that she happened to be standing right in a good place for it. I also like shadows, and so the fact that it was taken at night is part of what I liked about it. I think that the overall contrast of the image is something that I like about it as well.
Did you take it in color and then process it?
No, this is actually black and white film.
Or like actual film?
Yeah, this is film in Pentax K1000 camera, Ilford film, I believe. It's digitally scanned. I had the film developed and scanned, and it was then I edited it in Lightroom and printed it digitally. It has kind of that look, partially comes from it being shot on film, and that contributes to the sort of certain contrasting look that it has to it.
This is a vertical panorama. You were talking earlier with Elisa. I did the same technique that she did with her picture. It's an iPhone photo, and I don't know if your camera can see it, but there's a setting in here called pano, and so the way this is done is the camera is turned vertically, and I start at the bottom of the scene, and then I raise the camera up, and then I bring it over my head, actually. So because the camera is over my head, it goes behind, it sees what's behind me. So the trees on the top of this picture are actually behind my head. This is in front of me. I go up through the sky, and that's behind me. And there's a story behind this picture. I love to photograph clouds, and this particular cloud in the picture is called a 22-degree halo, and it forms when the clouds are very, very high, made of ice crystals. And the light from the sun, the light rays from the sun have a prism effect. And it's similar to a rainbow in that it splits into colors, but in this picture it splits into a circle. And these are actually a little more, these are more common than rainbows to see.
Tell me about your photographs here. You did the blue heron here?
Yes, I call it Surveying the Kingdom. This is a blue heron that lives on Willow Pond in the rear part of Mount Auburn Cemetery in Cambridge. And I just happened to have gotten the new iPhone last spring, and I went to Mount Auburn Cemetery, as I do pretty frequently, and went to Willow Pond and noticed that the blue heron was right at the edge. And my new iPhone had an amazing 25-time telephotic lens in it now, so that I was able to zoom in to the bird without spooking it. And then clicked it a couple of times to get different shots, and this came out. So I was really pleased with that.
Wow. Now, did you process it in any way in Photoshop?
Well, I used the Apple photo editing service and highlighted some of the colors that I thought would be important to bring out more fully. And really what has inspired me over many years are the Japanese woodblock prints. So I thought of that when I was editing, to let that the spiritual quality of the bird and the environment come out more fully.
Right, and your name is Viv Shine?
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about these photographs that you took?
I wanted to get a kind of chiaroscuro effect, like in the old paintings. That's what I was after. And I wasn't quite sure how to light it. And I asked people in the club, and they suggested you can actually buy the kind of lights. So what I did was I bought 2 lights, but I only actually used one. So I had the lighting coming from one side, and then I spent some time. I got all kinds of stuff around the house that I thought might work, and I bought some bits and pieces too, and then put it together. So and this was one of them. I guess it's just a tripod, the clear lights. Made it really, it was at night. I had to shoot at night to get this effect. And I guess what was interesting about this photo was the shadow of the pear. And when I first looked at that, I didn't have a whole shadow of the whole, didn't really show the whole pear. And then I thought, well, I could try and get rid of the shadow, or I could enhance the shadow. And I enhanced the shadow, made it bigger, moved things around. And I'm really happy with that.
Colors or anything. The only thing I did was cropping where I wanted.
Tell me how you came about doing that photograph.
The way that came about was I was on a vacation in a beautiful town in California where but what caught my eye and attention were the leaves on the sidewalk. We were supposed to be going, to boutiques and whatever, and there was this fancy restaurant there, but I think I spent at least an hour just down on the sidewalk, and I was just like thrilled with these leaves. I'm very, very color sensitive person, but also their shapes and the way they created like little artworks on the sidewalk there. So I went down there with my camera, and I didn't want to rearrange any of them. There was just a wonderful opportunity with what was there. So this was one of my favorite ones. I even noticed, the colors of the background under it were a very interesting complement to the colors and shapes of the leaves themselves. They were like in a whole different realm of sort of faded colors, spotted, like the sidewalk. And I never had to, I'm very color oriented, but I didn't adjust the colors at all. I only adjusted cropping. Everything was as I took it, except for just how I decided to crop the shot.
Tell me about this beautiful picture of the thunderstorm. It looks kind of scary, actually, if I were out in the road there.
Well, first of all, I love thunderstorms. Newton does not like thunderstorms, and I got tired of missing storms. I signed up for a storm chasing trip 2 years ago. They're organized, they're safe for the most part. It's like 8 people in a van, and we spend all day driving trying to find storms. It's a lot of driving, and when you find a storm, it's really worth it. We're far enough away that it isn't terrible. It's not scary usually, because these guys know what they're doing. But we drove 4,000 miles that week up on this trip, and saw one tornado. It's a total crapshoot. You get to see a part of the country that I've never seen. I'm from New York. The plains were unknown, so it was interesting. We're in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska. And it's exciting. Everybody gets really excited. Oh, there's a storm. And half the time they fizzle out. You can't get to them. So you're lucky when you get that kind of view.
Stay right in this location or whatever, stay here.
Can you tell me about the photograph? How did you get it?
All right, this is a loon on Long Pond in East Parsonsfield, Maine. And I was on a boat taking a ride around the lake. And originally, this is at a boys' summer camp, and they had to move it away from the swimming area, and they built this little raft and allowed it, the Audubon Society allowed them to move the loon out there. So I was able to use a high-powered lens, took several photographs, and she was very patient with me the whole time.
Did you process it on the computer in any way?
Oh yeah, I cropped it a little bit, and the lady who printed it for me enhanced the head a little bit so you could see it, so it would stand out a little bit more.
Those were only a few of the photographers whose works were featured in this exhibit. The photographs will be displayed until January 28, 2025 at the West Newton Cinema. You can also see them online at the links shown on your monitor and in the video description below. Thanks for watching. This is Ramon Bannister signing out.